Ladies and gentlemen, something explosive just happened in America. And if you thought that the Minnesota fraud scandal was bad before, what just came out this week, it just blew the entire thing wide open. President Donald J. Trump, standing firmly in the Oval Office, has now linked the Minnesota welfare fraud operation to something far darker, far bigger, and far more dangerous than anyone had expected. And let me tell you right now, Ilhan Omar is not going to like where this is headed because the president didn't hold back. He torched the corruption. He called out the lies. And for the first time, he said the quiet part out loud. This fraud network wasn't just stealing taxpayer money. Investigators now believe some of it may have been headed and funneled overseas into this extremist control region. In fact, multiple extremist control regions. Let that sink in for a second, okay? Billions missing, visas being abused, welfare programs ripped apart, and the American people left footing the bill while politicians pretend like nothing's wrong. Well, meanwhile, Omar, she goes on camera acting like none of it matters. They can't deport me, she says. I'm not worried. Oh, really? Oh, really, Ilhan Omar? Because Trump just ordered one of the largest ICE sweeps in Minnesota history. And the federal government is now combing through every fraudulent visa, every fake marriage, and every suspicious offshore transfer. Why do you think Trump's doing that, guys? So tonight, we're going to break down exactly what just triggered the president's explosion, why Ilhan Omar is suddenly in the crosshairs, and how Minnesota just became ground zero for the biggest scandal of the year. Buckle up, folks. This one is going to shake the country. Hit the like button and subscribe. Folks, the moment President Trump stepped up to the microphone this week, you could pretty much feel it. The temperature in the room changed. This wasn't the calm, measured Trump from a trade briefing or from a tariff update. No, this was the Trump who's had enough. Enough of being lied to, enough of being the nice guy, enough of being stolen from, enough of watching corruption networks drain billions of dollars from the American taxpayer while politicians shrug their shoulders like it's a parking ticket. Trump didn't just address the Minnesota scandal. He detonated it. He laid out point by point how welfare abuse, fraudulent child care programs, and manipulated visa pipelines bled our country dry for years. And he said directly that the days of pretending nothing's wrong are over. This is the first time we've seen Trump fuse immigration enforcement, fraud exposure, and national security into one mission. And Minnesota, he's turned into ground zero. And right as Trump's crackdown began, who steps forward? Congresswoman Ilhan Omar. Now, she didn't look worried. She didn't even look shaken. She smirked. She laughed. And she said that she doesn't even know how they would deport her and claims the outrage is just political noise. But what people noticed wasn't her confidence. It was her refusal to acknowledge the magnitude of what's actually happening in her own backyard. Minnesota, it has become the epicenter of one of the largest welfare fraud operations in modern U.S. history, with federal agencies now combing through every suspicious visa, every fake program, every offshore transfer. And yet Omar brushes this off like it's nothing. No accountability, no concern, no worry, not a care in the world, no acknowledgement of the billions siphoned away while her district struggles. Her dismissiveness didn't calm things down. In fact, it poured gasoline on the fire, raising questions she doesn't want to answer. And so, moments like this kind of remind us that the smallest oversight can turn into a massive problem later. And your Medicare plan is the exact same way. Most big ticket problems start with one small thing that you didn't check. Your Medicare plan is no different. And Chapter checks your Medicare coverage so that you don't walk into the next year blind. One viewer told me, I didn't even know one gap could cost me so much money. And that's the truth, folks. One mistake, one hidden rule, one uncovered gap could literally pull money straight out of your pocket. Now, most people are taking the small step right now, not taking the big hit later, if you know what I mean. Most people are already dialing the phone number at the bottom of your screen. Phone number again is 909-563-8279, or they're visiting askchapter.org/Ron. And of course, it is completely 100% free for the Ron Yates community. Totally free service. Oh, and I just want to take a pause for a second. I want to thank Nancy, who left this warm and very powerful comment. She said, Chapter just saved me $600 a year. I'm 78 years old, and now I'm paying $1,500 $100 a month for rent. This savings may allow me to stay in my home. Nancy, I just want to thank you so much for sharing that. And right there is exactly why I partner with Chapter. Real people, real savings, real relief when it matters the most. Stories like yours show others what's possible when taking action instead of hoping that the system magically works in their favor. All right, so let's get back to the story. All right, so now let's talk about the scandal at the center of this entire political earthquake, because Minnesota didn't just accidentally lose a few $1 million. This was a $1 billion fraud network that grew so big, so fast, and so out of control that even federal investigators were stunned by what they found. Fake daycare centers billing the government for children who never existed, meal programs claiming to feed thousands while serving no one, SNAP and medical benefits handed out using falsified identities. And the worst part, this didn't happen overnight. The network grew for years. It grew for years, right under the noses of state leaders who were either asleep at the wheel or too scared of political backlash to shut the thing down. This wasn't a loophole. This wasn't some minor clerical error. This was organized, deliberate, and industrial scale theft of the American taxpayer. And Trump wasn't about to let this thing slide. And so this right here is why so many people are confused about what's real anymore. They're drowning in headlines, but nobody actually shows you the full picture, just whatever grabs your attention the fastest. This is exactly why I use Ground News. It pulls together over 50,000 sources, shows the bias, factuality, and even ownership behind every outlet. Take this recent Minnesota fraud story. It has been covered by over 65 sources, around 62% lean left, 34% lean right. One left-leaning headline frames it as policy failure, while a right-leaning outlet is calling it a coordinated operation. It's the same story, completely different words. So Ground News lets you compare all of it instantly, and I love that. So get 40% off the Vantage plan at ground.news/Ron Yates. There's a link in the description down below of this video. But here's where everything shifts from fraud scandal to national security crisis, because federal agencies aren't just investigating the money that was stolen, they're tracking where some of it went, and early reports suggest portions of these funds may have been funneled overseas into regions that are controlled by extremist groups. No accusations against Ilhan Omar, no claims against any specific official, but the fraud networks themselves, they're now under a terrorism finance microscope. This is why Trump's tone changed. This is why ICE was mobilized. This is why the president called this one of the most dangerous failures in state oversight in decades. Because if even a fraction of this money ended up supporting extremist activity abroad, then we're not just dealing with theft, we're dealing with a pipeline that could compromise American safety. And suddenly, Minnesota wasn't just a local scandal anymore. It became a national threat. Now, this is where the media absolutely lost its mind. Trump made the now viral garbage comment, and instantly headlines screamed that he attacked all Somali immigrants. But let's go ahead and slow down just for a second. Let's actually look at what President Trump said. Trump clarified very clearly that he was talking about people who live in America, take American benefits, and then turn around and call this country the worst place on earth. He wasn't talking about hardworking Somali Americans who love this country. He wasn't attacking an entire culture. He was just going after the individuals that are tied to fraud, abuse, and anti-American rhetoric. Trump doubled down, saying he refuses to stay silent while people rip off the system and tear down the nation that feeds them. And whether you love him or hate him, one thing is undeniable. He didn't back off. He didn't soften. He meant every word he said. But right after Trump clarified his remarks, Minneapolis leadership rushed to the cameras with rehearsed talking points. The mayor, activists, local officials, all insisting that the Somali community is being villainized, that Trump is stoking fear, and that Minnesota's Somali residents are a treasured part of the city's fabric. They highlighted Somali-owned businesses, cultural contributions, and families who follow the law and serve the community. Now, let's be very clear. No one disputes that. The issue isn't Somali culture or Somali families. The issue is the fraud network, the criminal rings, and the political cowardice that allowed billions to vanish without oversight. That's the problem right there. But Minneapolis leadership refused to separate the community from the criminals that are hiding within it. And that refusal, whether intentional or political, ignited the next stage of this national firestorm. So instead of calming the tensions, they poured accelerant on them. And so then came the moment that sends shockwaves through Minnesota. President Trump authorized a major ICE surge into the state, not a symbolic symbolic gesture, not a political stunt, a full-scale, boots-on-the-ground operation targeting individuals flagged inside the fraud network. Now, let's be crystal clear about this. Trump made it very known that this sweep is not about going after innocent families, legal residents, or law-abiding immigrants. This is about rooting out those directly tied to fraudulent visas, fake marriages, sham childcare networks, and stolen taxpayer funds. So federal agencies compiled the lists, cross-referenced financial transfers, and traced overlapping identities. The sweep wasn't random, it was surgical, and this precision is exactly what terrified the political establishment because it means that the government knew exactly where to look and who to question. This was the first time Minnesota felt the full weight of federal enforcement, and trust me, folks, the ripple effects were immediate. And so just when you thought the tensions couldn't get any higher, Minneapolis's own police chief stepped forward and ignited a constitutional firestorm. He told residents that if they saw federal agents in their neighborhoods, agents performing lawful enforcement, they should call 911. He suggested local officers might intervene if someone believed that their civil rights were being violated. Now, hang on a second. Hold on. Intervene against federal agents? That's not community support. That is a city government trying to undermine federal law. And for Trump's administration, it signals something deeper. This is a growing rebellion inside these sanctuary cities where local officials are willing to obstruct investigations to protect political narratives. This statement didn't cool down the crisis. It escalated it. It raised legal questions. It raised safety concerns, and it forced Americans to ask, what happens when local police and federal agents collide in the same neighborhood over the same suspect? Now, let's get into one of the most shocking revelations of all, the visa fraud explosion. South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem dropped a bombshell when she claimed that 50% of all Minnesota visa applications showed signs of fraud. 50%, guys, that's a pretty high number. 50%, that's half. That number is so staggering that it almost sounds impossible, right up until federal investigators started confirming widespread patterns, sham marriages to obtain legal status, manufactured identities used to access benefits, and applicants claiming to be related to people who aren't even in the same hemisphere, let alone the same city or state. This wasn't a mistake. This was clearly a pipeline, a conveyor belt of fraudulent entries feeding into the same welfare networks already draining billions of dollars from taxpayers. And every fraudulent visa means another access point into government programs that were meant for struggling American families, not criminal enterprises. This is why Trump snapped. This is why the ICE sweep expanded, and this is why the country is paying attention today. And so then came the report that sends shockwaves through Omar's own district. So Ilhan Omar pretty much, she panics, okay? Investigators began reviewing remittance data, the billions of dollars sent overseas each year, and discovered some suspicious clustering around high-risk regions controlled by extremist groups. No one claimed all remittances were criminal, and certainly no one accused Ilhan Omar personally. But the fraud networks already under investigation, some of their financial trails lined up disturbingly close to areas flagged by federal intelligence agencies. And so this is why conservative media erupted. This is why Trump's comments landed with such force. Because if even a fraction of the stolen Minnesota welfare money ended up overseas, whether it was intentionally or not, it means taxpayer money, taxpayer dollars may have indirectly touched the hands of groups hostile to the United States. This is huge. This is massive. Ilhan Omar's district suddenly wasn't just a political debate. It became part of a national security conversation that she couldn't avoid. And so now here's the part that really hits every American that's watching the show tonight, because the Minnesota fraud scandal isn't just about crime or corruption or political cowardice. This is about affordability. It's about why groceries cost more money. It's about why rent is skyrocketing, why hospitals are overwhelmed, and why your paycheck doesn't stretch the way it did 10 years ago. President Trump made it clear, when millions of dollars in benefits are siphoned off by people who were never entitled to them, everyone else pays the price. Illegal benefits mean crowded housing markets. Fraudulent SNAP enrollees mean grocery stores raise their prices. Overloaded hospitals means longer waits. higher premiums, and fewer resources for citizens who've paid into the system their entire lives. So Trump argued that reversing Biden's damage begins with restoring fairness, making sure benefits go to Americans, not scammers that are running criminal enterprises. This scandal isn't isolated. This is a symptom of a system that stretched way past the breaking point. And so now we end with the question millions are asking, because fraud on this scale doesn't happen without political failure. Should the leaders who oversaw Minnesota during this collapse face consequences? Should they be investigated, removed from office, held responsible for the billions lost under their watch? Now, we're not accusing anyone of crimes. We're just simply asking the question that American people deserve to ask. How did this happen? And why did people in charge ignore the warning signs year after year while the fraud network ballooned into a national security threat? Well, Trump has already signaled that 2026 will be the year of accountability. He's promised transparency, he's promised oversight, and he's promised to put people in leadership positions who love this country and protect its resources. So now the question goes to you, folks. What should happen next? And who should answer for what Minnesota allowed to unfold? Let me know in the comments down below. We'll see you on the next video.